Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be reviewing one of the newest diamond ships, and that is the American heavy cruiser Norfolk. And this is actually a really fun ship. I have mentioned it once or twice before in a couple of previous videos, but I definitely recommend buying this ship or at least considering it. There's a lot of good things that come from the ship. Now, she is a matchmaking 7.5, and she's not the only American diamond ship at this tier. We also have Wichita as another diamond ship, and Helena as yet again another diamond ship, and both of these are about 7.5. I know, yep, Helena's a 7.5. I don't know if Roanoke's a 7.6 though. Nope, she's a 7.5. So all three of these ships are diamond ships, and all of them are American heavy cruisers, except Helena, which is a light cruiser. My top choices out of all three of these, Helena and Norfolk are definitely pretty decent. Roanoke can be decent, or Wichita, but she's not as exemplary as the other two. So for right now, we're just going to go over Norfolk. We will have our own review on all diamond ships at another time in the future. But until then, we are just going to go over the ship today. So, Norfolk. Well, as you can quite clearly see, she is pretty much just a copy paste Baltimore, or at least in hull form she is. However, she does have a bit of a difference from Baltimore, mainly in the form of her guns, those being twin 12-inch guns that are exactly the same guns you see on Alaska. You don't have the triples that Alaska does, but twins aren't that bad either. I thought the ship might be kind of bad considering she only had 6 guns. She'd be like a very nerfed Gneisenau. That's even giving her a lot of credit there. But honestly, I've had a lot of fun with this ship, and she's not one to disappoint. So let's start off with basic stats. We have 41,800 health, which is pretty decent. We have 14% torpedo damage resistance, Baltimore hull, so we only have 6 inches of armor on the belt armor. You will be citadeled quite easily in the ship. The ship itself is exactly the same as a Baltimore. So if you know how Baltimore plays, then you know how to play Norfolk. And if you also have Alaska, that's a bonus because then you understand the guns as well. Let's see what else is there. Guns. 12-inch, 3.2 rounds a minute. I have not had any problem with any of these guns at all. Their accuracy can sometimes be a little bit wonky, but I have no real complaints over it. One good thing about these guns is that if you use armor piercing, you can overmatch the bow of most cruisers. And that does give you a definite advantage if you're bow tanking or if you're just trying to shoot through the nose of a ship. Obviously, the same does apply to you. And even if you don't just bow tank, if you get broadside and you're going up against Norfolk, you can also be citadeled. The ship is very good at just one-shotting cruisers left and right. And if they're not one shot, then they don't have a lot of health. And that's where your secondaries come in, because I'm pretty sure, well, I'm not pretty sure, but they have similar secondaries to the ones found on Illinois, the ones that have like 7.5 kilometer range and do a ton of damage. These secondaries only go out to about 5 kilometers. However, it seems like they aim for the superstructure more than the hull itself. I've been able to do pretty decent amounts of damage with these secondaries, honestly. Um, Up to about like 20,000 damage per game. So it's nothing that'll like you don't go for a full secondary build on her. Actually, I don't even think you can. I do have the captain's skill, but there's no way you can equip the module, so I guess I have the most of a secondary build as possible. But I also have her focus for accuracy. So going back to the guns themselves, you have the main guns that can do a ton of damage and overmatch cruisers, and you have secondaries that are not as potent as Illinois, but they're at least a little bit better than normal secondaries at this tier. You also have a 17.6 kilometer main range, again with the 5 kilometer secondary range. No problem about the guns at all. The AA on the ship is also probably the best at this tier. I haven't really compared it to the other cruisers yet, but it's still a Baltimore. And as I've mentioned before, I've had games where I've gone against a Hiryu, and I've knocked down over 40 aircraft ever out of 76 or so. Um, so yeah, she definitely has the AA stand up against carriers. However, she does not have the ability to equip an anti-aircraft defense, which kind of makes her unique among anti-aircraft or cruisers, American cruisers in general, because that's normally something that they have. Instead, she has a radar, which is one of the better ones because it's a 11-kilometer radar, but its precision is down to 2.5 meters. So once you pop that radar, any target that that radar detects is pretty much going to be exactly where it says it is. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean you can lock onto the target still, but you at least know exactly where that ship is at any given moment. One final thing that does kind of separate Norfolk away from other cruisers is her aircraft. She has, looks like, three aircraft, but they are launched in groups of two, similar to something like Massachusetts. So that's again something that's unique to her among all other American cruisers as of right now. Um, and also, lastly, this camo is amazing. I really like the camo. You don't have to buy a camo for it; it automatically comes with this. Other modules, you have a heal, you have three charges, and then your damage control party. Nothing too serious. So yeah, you have good guns, good secondaries, good AA. Your armor is a Baltimore. You can't really do much about that, but if you know how to angle, you can definitely bounce quite a few shells. And then the pinpoint accuracy radar. There's a lot of good things that come from the ship. So let's show that all in action. All right, and here ourselves a game. We have a carrier, which is good, a few battleships, some cruisers, and a couple destroyers. So a little bit of everything. One thing that I actually forgot to go over before we started this match was her speed. She's not anything special in regards to her speed, but she does go about 33 knots without any bonuses or buffs. All right, so we're going to let's see, what do we want to start out with? Do we want to start with high explosive? I'm thinking armor piercing. Normally on this map, the cruisers that you first see will give you broadside. But then again, there's also the chance of seeing destroyers. So let's actually stick with high explosive here. "11 km radar will help us quite a bit. Actually, let's see if we can pop that now. So you can kind of see the range of where this radar is. I did pop it a little bit early, but that's alright. We still have 3 other charges of it. And let's just start out with some high explosive firepower at this Andre Doria, and then switch our target to this destroyer. Immediately get a fire, even though we did get a shatter. Against battleships, your high explosive will probably shatter. It's not going to be that good. But against destroyers, it is plenty useful. Alright, and I do have, like I said, the secondary crew skill, so my secondaries go out to 6 kilometers. And we're going to switch over to armor piercing here because of these cruisers. So you can see the secondary battery is opening up pretty decently with a good rate of fire. And right through the nose of the Zagano. However, it looks like it actually soaked up the shell through the turret. Let's see what else we can do. So the secondaries and main guns are working over the Zagano here. A lot of overpens. Zagano doesn't really have a lot of armor to penetrate. So let's see if we can do anything about this one while our secondaries work over this first one here. We got it with secondaries. Alright, let's see what else we can do here. That should be good enough angle to pen. Nope, they ricocheted. Alright, interesting. It looks like we're going to take a friendly tort, but that's fine. You are somewhat of a brawler cruiser, though not fully a brawler cruiser. We're just going to let our secondaries work over the Agano here, and we're going to work over this Norfolk. So 2 pens, and finish her off. Agano's still kicking. Alright, now we need to work on Chapayev here. Chapayev does have torpedoes, but that doesn't matter anymore. Okay, Brooklyn's got my broadside, that's going to be dangerous. But you can see how easy it is to just citadel cruisers left and right. Now obviously that's not going to really apply to battleships, but it is definitely possible to citadel battleships in this. And there goes another one. Alright, so now we don't have much targets that we can use armor piercing on from here. Though I'm going to take a pot shot at this Miyoko. I do have the accuracy module. Oh, well, she's sunk anyways. Alright, let's switch over to high explosive for a second. While we get in the range of these battleships. But you can kind of see how you have really good guns against cruisers, or at least on the broadside. Your secondaries are decent enough to take on destroyers and damaged cruisers. And we actually haven't even seen anything of the carrier yet, so we haven't shown off the AA. But I did take quite a bit of damage. So that is reminiscent of your, well, Baltimore hull. There's nothing you can really do about that except play smart and try not to show broadside at all. Alright, so Gneisenau now is turning broadside, so we're going to actually switch over to armor piercing and take a few shots at her. However, I think we are the only ones that she can see. Yep, we are. So we're going to be focused on by all these battleships. It's not exactly a good thing. So we're actually going to try and keep our range a bit. But you can see, you can definitely take good chunks off of all of these battleships. Okay, it looks like they're going to be shooting our friendly destroyer and our other Gneisenau for the time being. So it does give us a few seconds or minutes to work on these ships without any interference. Let's pop our seaplane in the air because I feel like the carrier is going to like us in a minute. We're going to take as much damage as we can while the enemy is distracted. I'm going to slow down a little bit because I don't want the island to get in the way of this Andre Doria. But you can just see how much chunk damage you're impacting on all these battleships. These are still 12-inch guns, even if you only have 6 of them. So it's like a mini Alaska, kind of. And there goes another one. And it looks like we were able to take out the enemy Gneisenau now, which works out really well for us. Might as well use another heal. I was saving it in case the carrier attacked, but it doesn't look like she's interested right now. So we're just going to keep working over this hood a little bit. There's the Ranger. Really good damage. I'm getting like, some volleys are over 10,000 damage, which for a battleship, that's not very survivable for very long. Though it does look like I'm the center of attention right now again. So we're trying to angle in a little bit when she fires here. There's the fire. Yep, that still hurts though. Right, and that should sink her. Well, the torpedo did, but you get the point. Alright, so now it's just us and this carrier. So let's see. Rangers aren't necessarily known for being strong. And I don't think I gave enough lead. Still almost 10k damage though. 4 overpens, 2 pens. Will not complain about that. And you can see the rate of fire that you have is really, really good for this ship. Let's pop another heal. Alright, let's pause from shooting so we can show off the AA here. Let's see if we are somewhat decent. So we're not shooting a lot down, but it does add up over time. And if they just stay above you, they will fall down really, really quickly. Alright, so we dodge those torpedoes. Alright, so you can kind of see your AA capabilities here. Alright, let's go back to shooting the Ranger. Got a Citadel. Almost 20,000 damage on that volley. And we should be able to finish her off here. And with that, we have ourselves a game. So let's take a look to see how we did. Oh, actually, destroyer. Let's switch back to high explosive here. Completely missed that there was still a destroyer left. Not that it's going to last long though, considering there's torpedoes. But let's see if we can get another hit or two on her. As you can see, your limited number of shells at range does make it somewhat hard to be effective at said range. I could lob shells all day, but that doesn't mean I can hit her. And she's already out of radar range anyways. Not quite sure where she's going. Is our carrier safe? Yes, she is. Okay. So I guess we're just gonna have to chase down this destroyer here. And our carrier is going to try and cap the base, which is fine. But I would like to sink this destroyer. Oh, we're detected, which means she is pretty close. Our fighter has not spotted anything yet. Thinking she might be to the right here. Nope, she's to the left. Alright, well, we have a high explosive 12-inch shells ready. That did quite a bit of damage, and our secondaries are now going to open up and finish her off. And there we go. Alright, so now let's see how we did, considering we have now completed the mission. 255,000 damage, 6 ships sunk, 131 shell hits, 13 aircraft shot down, 6 citadels, 7 fires, 95 secondary hits, 13,000 base XP, over 1,000 free XP. We did 24,000 damage in high explosive, 183,000 damage in armor piercing. Fires did 15,000 damage, and secondary battery did 32,500 damage. So you can see how I can assume that the secondaries are kind of like Illinois. You do a pretty substantial amount of damage with them. Also, going back to your armor piercing, those citadels definitely do hurt. Maximum damage per armor piercing shell is 10,100 damage, and that does add up over time. And just to show you, the speed is actually 32 and a half knots, not 33. So I was a little bit off, but there you have it. Really, really fun ship. I was kind of hesitant when I first bought her, but she has been nothing but amazing, and I have only good things to tell about her. So definitely, again, would recommend her. And that will wrap it up for today's video. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe for further content. And tomorrow we'll be going over the newest Japanese cruiser diamond ship, Azuma. Now today is update day, but it doesn't look like there actually is any update. That might be in regards to the fact that there's an event going on right now. So no new material, at least for this week. So again, tomorrow going over the next, or the Japanese super cruiser, which I have not been too impressed with, honestly, but we'll see what we can do. And I will see you all tomorrow. Take care.